Okay, here I'm going to show you how to do your wall labels if you didn't quite understand how I demonstrated in class. But basically this is the symbol for wall labels. This is a very simple version. There are more complicated versions that have more information on the inside right here, but we're going to go with this one for right now. But basically I drew a circle. I used a 12-inch circle. There's no rule or anything that says what size circle you have to use. I would go with something that can be read, or read easily. And of course, whoever you work for when you go to work as a draftsman or an architect, they'll have their own style guide that will indicate things like this. But the symbol itself does look like this. So it's a circle. I used a 12-inch circle. And it depends on how big your house is or whatnot, how that's going to look. And I think 12 inches for mine is a little overdoing it, but that's all right. And then there's this triangle. Now I drew the circle, and then I drew the triangle over the top of the circle. I then used my trim tool right here to trim out the line of the triangle that goes right there. And then that makes this its own entity, this part out here. And then I used the hatch tool right here, hatch, and I just selected a pattern and then put it in there and clicked inside of that area, and then that left that hatch deal there. Now once you finish, once you get your circle, your triangle, your hatching, your number, and of course number, you just use your text tool right here. You see there it's got some text following around, and then 1, and then click outside of it. It saves it, and you'll have to rotate it into the direction that you need it to go. But once you do that, once you get your number and everything else, and your circle and your triangle, select the whole thing like this, and then type the word G-R-O-U-P for group. Alright, and I'm just going to leave mine like that because it's already grouped. And then if you ever need to work on it, like when you make copies of it, you group it, then you make copies of it, and you want to change the number. Well, to change the number, you'll have to ungroup it, change the number, and then group it back together. So grouping it allows me to pull it all over the place like this. Okay. If I didn't do that, then the circle and the triangle and everything else would come all on its own, or come as individual pieces, and I would have to try to piece it all back together. And again, too, another thing is you want to have some consistency with how far your numbers, your wall labels are away from your wall. I chose 15 inches. You can use 15 inches if you want, or you can just choose one of your own. That's another thing that's covered by an individual company's style guide as to how far those would be placed away from the wall. Now, once you label all of your walls, you go down here and you match it up with the wall itself. Okay, and right now I got my entire wall grouped together. As you notice, here, there's a few extra things on this wall than what you have. I haven't really gotten around to showing you all the things about a wall, so we will kind of take up with this next year. But as long as you've got the outside walls framed with your windows and doors, you're good to go for now. But make sure you number all of your walls, including your inside walls. But then when you come out here, just put your labels or your name, match the name with wall number 1 with that symbol there. Okay, so those go together. Of course, I've got several other walls on here, and here's one that's fully dimensioned. This is something that has to be done also, is dimensioning, and we'll worry about doing that next year. But if you get all 4 of your walls, and then get the wall names, and then all the labels on the inside of the house, including the interior walls, then we're good to go. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions.